So I kind of wanted to start something up in this video, mostly because it's supposed to be, I guess, the flagship video for this channel, eventually. So what I wanted to start up was A, adding polls to my video, so we'll see if this works out in this one. And B, I kind of started it last video, and that's the purpose of the poll in this video, is where during the sketching process, so, when I'm just doing penciling and I'm not doing any final lining, I've been speeding it up to about 20 times, which is, I guess, twice as fast as I normally do it. And then when it comes to doing the hard lines, I've started, I kept it at 50%. Oh, I'm just looking at the time. Jeez, I don't know numbers. But just tell me if you liked that, basically. So I actually was looking for a way to kind of blend my traditional realistic style, which uses a lot of black and white gradients, with the sort of cartoonish, tattooy style that I'm kind of really into right now. And this is kind of the beginning of that. This is also kind of the beginning, if you're watching, of a mistake that I made with this self-portrait. I was basing the size of my mouth on the size of my nose, and then I erased my nose and drew it bigger, so everything else is in reference to that, and the mouth just ended up really small. So I guess know that, but I think everything else turned out really well. It just kind of makes my eyes and nose look bigger. An exercise that I was also working on here was being nice to myself. I tend to draw my nose bigger than it really is and draw my mouth smaller than it really is. So know that it was not on purpose that I did this. Or maybe it was, I don't know, subconsciously, who knows. But I feel like I should make a note here that I actually do like black and white gradients. I just, when it comes to color, I just really like flat color. But I don't know. I feel like it's just a smoother gradient when you're using a pencil. So, sue me, or don't. Please don't. You wouldn't get anything. So at this point, I'm kind of working on, I guess, just drawing things as they are. I definitely had to use a photo for reference. I would not ever try to lie and say that I can draw my own face without thinking about it and without needing a lot of help. This is where I kind of messed up. I really, really, really liked the shape of the nose that I had in the first place, but I kind of overdid the shadow and then had to start all over. And then there's the nose bigger, so I don't know if that's me being mean to myself or if it's me just being honest about my nose. But yeah, everything else is referenced in size to this. So when I look at the finished result, I kind of get this weird uncanny valley feeling, because if I'm looking from the top down to the nose, it totally works. And then if I look from the mouth down, it's just like, yeah, that's my mouth, but is it my mouth? Like, if I saw somebody who looked like this, I would assume that aliens were real and that they were body snatching and trying to create doppelgangers and fool us, but they didn't quite do a good enough job. Just saying. Or I would think they were my relative. That's I guess that is a more reasonable assumption. I guess. So what I was doing when I was shading the eye was actually just using the same pressure and just layering over that color-wise. So that's a good way to get a gradient. If that made any sense to you at all, it's a good way to get a nice black and white gradient with pencils. Just kind of go over and do layers, because as you saw the first time I tried to do the nostril, you can't really, it's harder to erase and go back than it is to just add slowly. This is me kind of wondering if I was being mean to myself about my nose and then just kind of getting over it. I was like, okay, the nose looks too large, but what are you gonna do about it? I should have followed that instinct though, because when it comes to later, I just didn't want to redraw the entire mouth, but at this point I probably could have started over with the nose. That's okay. I think that in the end, it's relatively accurate. You know what I was trying to get at if you know what my face looks like. And this is me kind of reminding myself to draw what is. I have difficulty drawing my eye shape, and I don't know why. It's always really hard, so I was just referencing the drawing and being like, okay, this is this distance from that, and this is that distance from that. So I don't know, the rest of the face, it's good that I resized the nose, but I should have resized the mouth as well. It's just that I had put a lot of work into it. Because I don't know, my features are pretty large on my face, but I don't know. That's just how features work. So I've got the eye bags of like a weathered traveler, and so this is me just trying to figure out how to draw those without making it look like I'm, I've got lines tattooed on my face. Which I'm not sure about that success level. I also should say, this isn't really gonna be accurate in terms of skin tone, because I want to color this eventually, and when I color things, I just, I like this, what do you call it? I like my shading to already be done before it. And so, if you add color to that, it's gonna be fine, I guess. Oh, at this point, I had not sprayed the face with fixative, so at a certain point, I kind of stopped erasing, because I was just like, okay, I'm too scared to. And then when I get to the point where I fix the mouth, that's when I kind of started to, I guess, no, I totally just said the word. I said the word. Erasing. I started erasing again. So I have colored contact lenses, and that is relevant, I swear it is, because I'm watching myself complete the eyes. It always surprises me when I can see my eye color underneath, basically, is what I'm getting at. They're black, the ones that I have, and that I do need them. They're not just for cosmetic reasons, I promise, but I just felt like I should mention that, because I get that comment all the time. Oh, your eyes are so large. No, it's not natural. Although I guess the fact that my actual eyes my eyeballs are large is a natural thing. I have large eyeballs. I think my favorite part of this drawing is that I can see, when I'm watching it, I can watch myself lose interest in basically finishing it. I got to the hand and I was like, I draw hands all the time. I know how to draw hands. I know I'm fine. I'm done with hands. And then kind of was like, all right, we'll turn it into an artistic choice. It'll just peter off into nothing. But I guess now you know as well that, I was being lazy. I'm sorry. But I mean, I was having fun with the smudging. I have a lot of fun smudging, but once I run out of fingers to smudge with, that's when I kind of stop feeling like doing it. Which, I know that I could use the tool that you are meant to use for smudging, but I feel like, that just builds up graphite, and you gotta tear it down, and you don't have to pay for hands. Just saying. Which sounds really cheap, but I'm just saying I don't want to go out and go to the store, buy a tool that exists on my body. It's just, that's a lot of work for something that you can just do. So, the hair disappeared because I wanted to spray it with fixative, and so I fixed the mouth, and basically after that, I began again with the hair, because at that point I had saved all that work that I did on the face. It was a lot of work. I wanted to just stop erasing entirely, but I was just like, that's not gonna work. And later, I'm pretty sure later, I prove my point, basically. It really doesn't work, and it really does work that I sprayed fixative on it, because I would have lost a lot of work having made a mistake on top of it. But yeah, I started again with the hair after spraying the fixative. I normally don't. Well, that's untrue. I like to straighten my hair because it's less work. But I normally, if I'm just laying around, I don't straighten my hair. But another thing is that I just cannot draw curly hair. I can draw it in, a cartoon effect, but I do not have the patience to draw it realistically. Straight hair, I can just, use my pencil up and down, and there is hair there now. But when it comes to, words and things, when it comes to curly hair, that takes a lot more effort. And so I just prefer to do it in the cartoon style, when I can just say, here's the outline of it and some shading, and there is curly hair there now. Yay. Whereas I feel like if I were drawing it in real life, I'd be compelled to draw almost every strand, and that's so tedious. I would do it for somebody else, but if I'm doing my own self-portrait, it's not gonna happen. Maybe later. Mind you, if I'm not with the art, it's because I am kind of having to narrate watching the non-finalized version, sadly. So at this point, I think that I should be, how do you call it? Doing the hard lining. I think at this point I should be doing hard lining. And the non-complete version is about to be done. So I'm just going to have to assume at this point that I've started, But yeah, at this point I'm doing hard lining, and I'm basically it's a lot of fun. Essentially, it's just a lot of fun to do it, in my opinion, and it kind of, at some point I do realize that I'm kind of overdoing it, and I, erased and stopped. But I think it is. I think it's a pretty good. It's a good go at getting my what do you call it? My last style integrated into my current style. Like I think it did a pretty good job. But yeah. I was able to kind of be like, oh, that's you've added too much to it, and undid, I guess, what I had done, erased it, and it now is the finished product. Yeah. I had to start and stop several times before completing it to, I guess, add other details. Like, I signed my name and everything and had to be like, oh no, that's you, you're not done with this drawing. So, that is, I mean, monitor your stuff, I guess. Yeah. Alright, so there you have it. I think I managed to be nice to myself, although I don't think it looks quite like me. I think because I started from the mouth, it's a little pinched, and I didn't want to erase all the good work that I'd done in getting the shape right. So maybe if I color it, I will end up, making it bigger on Photoshop. That is, I guess, something for a later date if I do choose to color it. Yeah, so let me know. How do you like this new format? How do you like this? How do you like them apples? I don't know. Have a good day.